Hello. These are notes one for the fourth quarter. We have done so much work this year and we're finally to the fourth quarter. So these are notes one, and it's going to be working on solving multi-step equations. Multi-step equations is something we have been working towards for the last 2 months. We learned how to simplify expressions, we learned how to solve two-step equations, and now we get to put it all together with multi-step equations. Multi-step equations, there's multiple steps to solve the problem. So I have four like general guiding principles that I do. So I'd like you to try these. The first thing I always do is add the opposite. I get rid of all subtraction in the problem to start. It just helps me keep track of those negatives. The second thing I do is I distribute and simplify each side of the equation. So just like before, we're going to draw a line through the equation, and it separates it into two parts. And so my goal is to have the left hand and the right hand side both completely simplified, and then I do more work. My next step is, and you're welcome to pause the video if I'm going too quickly. The third step is to move all the numbers to one side and all the variables to the other. My overall goal is to isolate the variable, to get the letter alone. And so I kind of have to regroup the equation and put all the x's on one side and all the numbers on the other. And then my last step, I would have to multiply or divide to get the variable alone all the way. So those are the four steps. I have two examples we're going to work through, and then we'll practice this a lot more in class. So here's the first example. This is a complicated problem. Notice if we draw a line through the equal sign, I have x's on both sides. That's the telltale sign that this is going to be a multi-step equation. So I start by adding the opposite, and I see I have one subtraction sign, so I'm going to make this plus a negative 1x. I'm just going to put that coefficient of 1 in there so that I know that it's a negative 1. After that, I'm going to distribute and simplify. So when I'm simplifying, can I simplify this side? Can I put the 8 and the 3x together? And in this case, I cannot. Can I simplify this side? Yeah, I have to start by distributing. Because I'm going to be showing all of my steps. So when I distribute here, I haven't changed anything on this side, so I'm just going to copy this part down. Just like bring it down so it stays on the same level and the same line of my notebook. And then negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times a negative 1x is a positive 2x. And then that 6x just comes down. So I distributed the 2. I still cannot simplify this side, so I'm going to copy it down. But I can simplify this side. I have like terms that I can gather together. So I'm left with negative 2 plus 8x when I just combine the like terms. Now both sides are completely simplified. So I just simplify, I'm just adding and combining the like terms. Now this is the new stuff. We have never done anything like this before, but do you see how I have variables on both sides? I need to group or gather them all together on one side of the equation. It's easier, just so you know, this is my trick. It's easier to move the smaller amount of x's, the smaller coefficient. So I'm going to move the 3x over here. And to move it, I'm going to take it away. I can't just like write it on the other side. I have to do my inverse operations. So this is a plus 3x. And so the opposite is to take away 3x. And I'm going to take away 3x on this side. I strategically put these 3x's under the 8x because those are like terms, and I can do that math problem. So over here, 3x minus 3x is 0. So I'm left just with an 8. And the negative 2 stays, and 8 minus 3 is 5x. Now, if you notice, this is a two-step equation, but I chose to gather all my x's on this side, so that means I need to move my numbers, the constants, to the other side. So to move a negative 2, I add 2, and 8 plus 2 is 10, and I'm left with 10 is equal to 5x. And then the last step is to multiply or divide. So this is a times 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 2.